Hey guys, Rob Reviews here, bringing you another quick review for another issue of The Walking Dead. This one, of course, we're doing issue 4, doesn't actually have a name, which, issue 4 of The Walking Dead. This one originally, of course, is still part of Volume 1, Days Gone By, originally published even in 2004, January the 28th, wow, it's very old, and of course is still written by Robert Kirkman. Anyway, so we'll talk about the plot, so let's go. So that night after the zombie attack, Shane is keeping watch. Rick visits with him and the two discuss the situation. Rick believes that the group needs to move on. He feels like it's too dangerous to be near Atlanta where there's so many zombies could attack a small group. Shane believes the group could stay put, believing that the government is coming to clean up the mess, and if the group stays put, they will be easily found by rescuers. Rick finally concedes but says that they need to train everyone to use a gun. And everyone should be armed. The next morning, Rick talks to Glenn, asking him if he's seen any gun stores on his trip to Atlanta. Glenn doesn't recall, but asks Jim and gives them the location. Jim gives them the location of a store. Glenn goes to find out on the map where he goes. Rick talks to Laurie and tells her that obviously he needs to help Glenn get some guns. Laurie isn't happy about it, but he reassures he'll be fine. He also mentions that he's going to teach Carl to shoot a gun, and before Laurie can fight him on the subject, Rick and Glenn head to Atlanta for supplies. As Rick and Glenn walk towards Atlanta, Rick asks about Jim's mental state. Glenn says that Jim is the only known survivor from Atlanta, and he watched his family get torn apart by zombies when he escaped. Glenn suddenly stops and says that the gun store is about 5 blocks, further than he's ever gone in the city. He says there is no way that the two can possibly do it. Rick says he has an idea and takes Glenn to the Roma that killed the day before. Rick says that he knows zombies didn't mistake themselves for living people, and he believes the reason is smell. Rick chops up parts of the zombie and tells Glenn to rub it on his clothes and then put a few pieces on it in his pocket. Rick hopes that by smelling like the zombies won't attack them. The two proceed into the city limits. As soon as they arrive, they walk up to a zombie to see how well the theory works. As it appears, the zombie is going to attack Rick, but it settles down as Rick moves back. As they walk further into the city, they notice that none of the zombies come after them. Rick also mentions how it's a gloomy day. They arrive at the gun store to see a large crowd of zombies. Rick tells Glenn to remain calm, grabs a shopping cart to carry more guns. They grab as many guns and ammunition as they can in the exit. And as soon as they do so, Rick mentions that it's starting to rain. And as Rick hits a zombie in the head with an axe, it begins to downpour. The two start to run as the rain begins to wash away the zombie smell. The zombies take notice of Rick and Glenn, obviously trying to attack them. A zombie bites Rick on the shoulder, but obviously, and Rick starts firing at the crowd of zombies to make a path for Glenn, who was pushing the two obviously get outside the city limits, and Rick tears off his jacket, revealed the Roma did not break the skin. Rick asks Glenn not to tell Laurie about the close encounter. Meanwhile, back at the camp, Shane and Laurie are talking. Shane tries to, he talks to Laurie saying that Rick will be fine. He tells her to come back to the camp to keep her company. Laurie refuses Shane and tells him that he needs to stop trying to make advances on her since Rick is back. Shane says, but what about the night we on the road down here? Laurie, obviously, her back to Shane, says that night was a mistake. So that's the plot, really big plot. Overall, I think this issue was pretty cool. It was kind of fast-paced because we saw obviously the stuff with the gun store. That was really interesting, and I liked the whole close call thing. It was pretty cool to see. The stuff with the group was very good, and I think overall this issue was pretty solid. I think it's a solid 9 out of 10. Very, very cool issue. Plenty of good stuff in there. Worth the read, I'd say. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick little overview and review. And yeah, see you next video. Goodbye.